so thank you so much for staying with us. This is Agri Talk. We are talking about poultry farming, and we are discussing this topic with Titus Waiguru, who is from Pembe Limited. So before we went for our short break, we were talking about the brooding stage. So where do we go from there?
So once we are done with brooding, the birds now has developed. Most of the systems have developed. The digestive system is now developed. Heat regulation has developed. Now what the next stage now is the growing stage. Yeah? So we just make sure that we all the management practices that we are doing during the brooding stage, we make sure we maintain a dry floor. Ventilation should be enough, and then by the 4th week we just do away with the heat source, and then now the birds can be on their own. At that stage they are either still on starter feeds or the chick mash for the growers, and we are still giving them 24 hours of lighting. We give them 24 hours of lighting up to 8 weeks, but for that's for layers. For broilers, continuously for 24 hours. When it comes to lighting management, we are saying that during these first days of these birds, we are maintaining 24 hours of light, but it's very important to provide to give them at least an hour or two of darkness every day.
Darkness.
Yes, and this is very important because if they are used to lighting throughout 24 hours, in case of blackout or power failure, these birds will be frightened, and they will run all over, and they will land on each other, and you will find suffocation.
They will become hysterical.
Yeah, and then they huddle at corners, and you'll find a lot of deaths in the morning. So to avoid that, we make sure that they are used to this darkness just about an hour or two, so that in case of a fire failure they will not panic.
I hope our viewers have taken note of that, because I think this has not come out very clearly in our previous conversations, that we should actually give them an hour of blackout, total blackout.
Every day.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically that's it. We change now the feed to the next feed according now to the guidelines, and depending on the birds we are having. And at this stage now we are also doing things like vaccinations. Vaccination for against these common diseases like Newcastle, Gumboro, fall pox, fall typhoid for layers, just to make sure that the birds are covered. In case there is an outbreak, they will already have the immunity. Yeah.
Okay, and now we're talking about the broilers and the layers at the same time. So they are both immune against the same diseases, or do we have some diseases that are more prone to the broiler, to the layers? How do you advise that?
All right, so for broilers, they take about 30-35 days in their entire lives. So they live for a shorter period, as compared now to layers, which stays for a year and a half, 2 years, and so on. So layers have more vaccines than broilers. For broilers, we mainly cover them against 2 diseases, Gumboro and Newcastle. But now, when you come to the layers, we have Gumboro, Newcastle, fall pox, fall typhoid, about 5-6 vaccines. Yeah.
Okay, and for the layers now, once they've been taken out of the brooding, so what is the other phase of their life?
So the next phase now is the growing stage, which is from 8 weeks. From 8 weeks moving forward, and this is basically you see, we are preparing this bird to produce eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
So here we are mainly concerned with the nutrition. We must make sure that we give that bird a very good nutrition, a balanced diet. Remember, the bird is still developing. The bones are still growing. The muscles are still growing. And now the reproductive organs. So here is just giving them a good nutrition in preparation of the very long laying periods that will start from around 18-20 weeks. Yeah, so here we just finish our vaccination. We make sure we give the bird a very good diet, and now and as well as now the environment, the housing and so on. So we give, at this stage, we give them the feed that is called the grower's mash.
Okay.
And we give them up to 18 weeks, up until when we start seeing the eggs, and then we can change to the next diet. Yeah.
Okay, from the day you acquire the chicks to the first time that you get the first egg, how long is that?
On average, it takes about 18 weeks, but it's dependent on, as we said, on the very early stages, how you do your brooding, the environment, and the feeding. Now, if any of those factors is not done right, you'll find a delay in the onset of flays. It is also very important that we have enough feed and water containers, so that all the birds are able to access the feed, and this helps a lot in attaining the uniformity of the birds. Because once they start laying, they start 1, 1, 1, 2, and then progressively you're getting more eggs. So if you have a uniform flock, they will be able to peak in egg production as fast as possible. So it's very important that we give them a conducive environment, enough feeders for uniformity. Yeah. So once we get our first eggs and we change to layers, in a month or two they should be laying above 90%. Yes.
And comparing the farmers who would maybe use their other feeds, other supplements, maybe the kitchen waste, the leftovers, or maybe those who will do their own formulation, and those who go for your kind of feed that you manufacture, which one do you think would give better results, or is it just the same?
It is totally different. And with commercialization, it is even more it's more imperative to have a very good feed, because as I said, the birds has been bred, if it's the layers, they have been bred to have the capacity to produce the maximum amount of eggs. And for the birds to produce the eggs, there are things we call them the ingredients in the feed. Nutrition is at the center of the performance of the birds. Because to start with, this bird will need a balanced diet, a diet that has protein, has enough energy, minerals, and vitamins. And when the bird is consuming a feed, it must be able to maintain its own body system from the nutrition. It must be able to maintain the body system, the heartbeat, the breathing, the reproduction. And then the rest of the diet is the one that is used for production. Yeah. So we must make sure that we are giving a diet that is complete in all those aspects that we have said. And you see things like vitamins, minerals, they are very key, and they are very key when it comes to production. If you are if you're a farmer producing eggs, for example, your target is to produce as much eggs as possible. That's the number of eggs, high number of eggs. Because remember, you're also in business. You need good quality eggs. And in good quality eggs, I mean a good sized eggs, strong shell, and an attractive yolk color. Yeah. And all of these are directly affected by the nutrition. There are feed additives that we put in these feeds. Apart from now the maize, the soya, the sunflower, there are additives that are added in the feed that are responsible for strengthening the shell of the eggs, producing a good sized egg, and making sure that the yolk color is yellow. So with leftovers from the house, you cannot get all these nutritional ingredients that are required by the birds to perform as the farmer want.
So we've also had cases of where farmers will feed their chicken with the yellow maize to get opposed to be the kienyeji. You know, the kienyeji egg. Yeah. We have that. Is it true? Is it possible to achieve that?
There's some truth in that. In fact, when you use the yellow maize, you realize that the egg yolk color changes. And
but that's not to mean
it's not. It may not be enough. It may have some bit of yellow, but it may not be enough. What is responsible for that yellow color is something called chlorophylls, and they are present in vegetables like kale, spinach, and they are for kienyeji chicken that are raised outside. Naturally, you'll find the egg is very yellow.
Very yellow, yeah.
So for commercial layers, now we use that chlorophyll. The chlorophylls are now incorporated in the feed to give you now that nice golden yellow color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe as we wind up, maybe what is the one thing, maybe where do farmers get all this information for your feeds? Is it available in all the stores that stock the animal feeds? Maybe what do you want to tell the poultry farmers?
So we have a customer care department at Pembe that has vets, and their job is to make sure that they first of all advise farmers, answer any queries they could have, respond to complaints, and most importantly, we do the trainings. We offer that free extension services to farmers to really give them the information they need, because there's a lot of information when it comes to farm management.
Yeah, true.
So that even as we give them a very good quality feed, we can make sure that they are doing the right things when it comes to management. And this goes a long way in making sure that our farmers are able to meet their production goals, whether it's raising their broilers, production of eggs, whether it's milk, and ultimately to make some profit, because they are in business. Yeah.
So what is the one thing maybe you feel like maybe you wanted to talk about that maybe we didn't happen to discuss in this conversation before I let you go?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, for farmers to succeed, it's very important to make sure that all these things, there are very small adjustments that they can make in their farms, but the impact they have is very big. Getting the genetics right, management right, whether it's from brooding, housing, and equipment and all that. We must also make sure that our birds are healthy. We must have a very good health program for our birds. There's something we call biosecurity. Biosecurity are all the measures that we take to prevent infections from entering the farm. We must have a very good biosecurity program. Hygiene is very key.
Yeah.
Nutrition. It's very important to source food from reputable companies, because even even as we talk about nutrition and good nutrition for production, farmers are at the center of the food chain. So they want to make sure that you are getting a food that is complete and also that is safe, because there's a responsibility to produce feed that is fit for human consumption. And what can make your product not fit for human consumption, it can come from the feeds. There are hazards, there are things that can be in the feed which can end up compromising the safety of the public. We have things like aflatoxin, chemical contamination, bacterial contamination. So we must make sure that we are getting a feed from a reliable company for the productivity, for the profitability of our farms, for the safety of the public, and for the welfare of the animals in general.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you so much. And there you've had it, small adjustments that you could make that will make a big difference in your poultry farming, such as getting the right breeds, making sure that you have the best of management practices, and then you will be a happy farmer at the end of the day. So that's where we wrap our episode for today. Until next time, enjoy the rest of our programming.